Join our psychedelic smoke sesh as we explore exciting new dimensions of existence, thought, and possibility.
We'll take you out of this world and blaze through infinite realms, while occasionally forgetting what we were saying.
This is Higher Consciousness. To Higher Consciousness, Season 5, Episode 7.
I think I'm going to do that every time now.
What?
When you start the show, you're going to say, welcome. I'm just going to go. Because I think I did that in the last episode, too.
For those of you who are listening, Dave is doing some crazy things with his
Crazy
mouth.
faces.
Yeah, some crazy faces.
Looking silly.
Which, by the way, thank you all to all of our listeners and our Thank you to all of our listeners on our podcast that have been listening in. We've noticed that we've seen an uptick in listeners for this season in particular.
Yeah,
I had a feeling that all the love things would bring on more of our people. So thank you so much for listening if you've been listening on our podcast. And if you're not watching on YouTube, definitely check us out on YouTube under Higher Consciousness Talk. You can find a quick link to that if you go to a Meaningful Dreams YouTube page and scroll at the bottom. It's one of the featured channels at the bottom. So definitely check that out so you can watch us, because there's things that you can't see, because you can't see things on podcasts. You can only hear things on podcasts.
Yeah, you're not allowed to use your eyes.
Yeah, I mean, you could try, but it would be...
You would visualize it.
Yeah, visualize or have an imagination, which I'm not against, so definitely go for that. But it would be cool if you watched us on YouTube as well. We're talking about Honeymoon today, right?
Honeymoon!
Oh,
yeah!
I wasn't trying to get that
salad
on camera.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm so
and
impressed.
It tasted
by
like
that.
the truffle aioli that we just had.
Wow.
Yummy.
So TMI.
Whatever.
But it's okay.
I didn't mean to burp while doing this, but it just kind of came out.
Sometimes
it's like I just gotta clear some things out. Clear some things out. So
yeah, we've discussed engagements and marriage, and now we're past the marriage phase and we're into the honeymoon phase.
We're over marriage now. I'm just kidding.
We're done with the ceremonies. We had so many of ours, so I was very much looking forward to our honeymoon.
Yes.
But yeah, honeymoons are an interesting concept, because they're not necessarily, when we talked about marriage and engagements and, all the formal aspects of these union.
We should have looked this up
ceremonies.
before we got here to see, what's the history of honeymoons?
What I was going to say, though, is I think it's interesting that there's not really, from what I understand about honeymoons, it doesn't really seem like an old world thing. It seems more like a new adoption to the honeymoon or the marriage ritual, I feel like.
Yeah, it does feel like it is a newer thing. I would really have to look it up, though. Damn, I wish your phone were nearby so we could look it up and get an idea. But
That's
I
what
guess
we do on the show, honey.
Well, the show must go on.
We roll off the cuff, and if we're not knowledgeable about what we're talking about, sometimes people out there are just gonna find their own truth, right? This show is about higher consciousness thinking, higher thoughts. It doesn't necessarily have to be 100% truthful, because there's really no 100% truth out there.
No, other than the fact that we will all die one day. That's honestly, that's probably one of the only universal truths that I think we can.
Change is inevitable.
Yeah. And that's always going to happen. So I'm opening up the space and clearing the space with my Enchanted Forest bundle. We went to the UP for our honeymoon, and so I felt like this was appropriate to help kind of bring in that forest, nature-y kind of energy that we were surrounded by during our little honeymoon that we had. So just to open up the space, clear any energy.
Clearing
Clear
crap
your
out of my
third
eye.
Yeah, clear that out of your
clear
eye.
This eye. Gross.
Your heart. doing a very quick
You
cleanse.
clear my heart down here?
Yeah,
Heart's
God
okay.
cleared the dick too.
I was gonna
Clear
say,
the dick, clear the
that's not my heart.
pussy,
This
clear
is
the
my heart
boobies,
right
gotta
there.
clear it.
My goodness.
What?
Just so
We're
much.
talking about our honeymoon.
So much.
Gotta get everything ready.
I mean, I understand that the majority of the activities during honeymoon are sexual in nature, but we don't necessarily have to, speak
we're
about
gonna
that
talk
the
about that,
entire
though.
time.
Not the entire time, but we will talk about it. And then I'm gonna use.
But we
will talk about it because I think it's important. So I'm gonna use my Blue Moon Luna Essence because it comes with the mantra "I am higher love," and it also was made on the third wedding date, the wedding right before our honeymoon. So the mantra is "I am higher love." So I'm gonna say it 3 times. Give us a little spritzy spritz. Then we're gonna go into the blessing, and then we'll start talking about the honeymoon and honeymoons in general.
Okay.
So ready?
Mm-hmm.
I am higher love. I am higher love, and I am higher love. Yes, 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 yes.
My God.
Some for you, some for you, some for me.
So much.
Yeah, because it smells so good. Oh my God. It smells so good. Honestly, no, I really do like this one. This one's probably, I've used quite a bit of it too. It's one of my favorites, but it's kind of hard to pick a favorite because I like them all.
Yup.
All right, so let's take a deep breath. And prepare for the blessing. Get out your green. Ready? Bless you, Mary Jane, and thank you for being here with us today. May you open the hearts and the minds and the perspectives of those who are listening and or watching. May what we have to say today come clearly and concisely and offer some insight on honeymoons. May we have a dope time. May we have fun with full of laughter and ride the conscious ride of wherever Mary Jane decides to take us. Bless you, and so dope it be.
So dope it be.
Okay, I feel like I talked a lot already.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So that's just an
so
excuse
you
for you to
should-
take the first hit so I can talk?
yeah. But also because
Diabolical.
you were the one that was talking, you started the conversation about honeymoons. So
Well,
I
yeah.
think it's appropriate for you to continue
Yeah,
it. And then I will take a little hit while you do that.
Well, honeymoons traditionally are like a time spent after the marriage ceremony because you've put in all this time and energy and stress into this big event. And now we need some time to ourselves to enjoy the fact that we are now married. And we get to spend the rest of our lives together. So, a lot of people, I think, traditionally go on like a vacation, some kind of trip.
Yeah, and they can be very extravagant too.
Very extravagant, right? I shouldn't say this was super extravagant, but I knew some friends of mine, they went on a European tour.
I feel like that's
for-
extravagant.
It was fairly extravagant.
It's a big trip.
Yeah, it's a big trip. I mean, they visited like probably 6 or 7 different countries.
Mm-hmm.
They were just go the entire time. But when they told me about everything that they had done and everything they got to see and experience, I mean, they mainly went for food and drink, which, I mean,
Hey,
can't go wrong there.
Why not? It's a great place to go for food and drink.
I just felt like it was a really great way, to spend the honeymoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
To go enjoy another environment that's unique. The two of them have never been to before. Do it together, right?
Yep.
And that is a memory that they're going to have for the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with us. Ours was less extravagant. We just went up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
UP.
Little 6-hour jaunt up there, and just kind of camped out in the woods there. And
we had an Airbnb in the woods. We didn't camp.
Well,
Otherwise, we probably would have if it were warmer. Knowing us, like, we love camping, and that's one thing we didn't get to do this year because of all the wedding stuff. But that's okay. We'll get to next year. But it was like a nice little mini moon. But the thing that I felt like what we did differently than a lot of other people is, as we've talked about in the last episode, weddings, which, by the way, I want to, like, before I get too into all of that, I wanted to give a shout out to Better Brother Brothers for this
Yup.
lovely green that we have in my bong that I created, which is so beautiful. What are we smoking? Is this Cherry Kush Mints?
Yeah, because we can't do apple fritter
Yeah,
in the
because
middle of the
apple
day.
fritter gets us fucked. Like, gets us so high
Learn
that,
that
like,
lesson the hard way.
yeah, it has to be like a nighttime or a funsy kind of thing.
Fundy.
Or like in small amounts, I would say. But we like to smoke a lot. So
Moderate
anyway,
amounts.
Cherry Kush Mints, Butter Brothers, Tyler and Devin, thank you once again. We love you and your bud so much.
Magical marijuana magicians.
Yes. But as I was saying, the way that we did our weddings I think we're kind of like honeymoons too, because we would have the wedding and then the week after the wedding, we would chill and we would kind of just take it easy. We weren't doing as much work. We weren't doing, we were hanging out with friends and things like that, but we weren't doing like a lot that we would normally do. And then after the mini moon, because we went on this honeymoon up to the UP for what, 3 days total?
Yeah, it wasn't that long. It was only like 3 days, I think, all total.
Yeah.
So
it was like a mini moon, but then after that, we spent the rest of the week just kind of laying low and chilling and kind of relaxing at home.
Yeah, just took the week off from work and just kind of, you know, experiencing just our company.
Yeah.
I would say.
Which was great. And like I would have definitely liked to have stayed at the UP more, but it was nice.
Well, yeah.
A nice little trip. But I enjoyed the time that we had when we were there, and I liked the place. The place that we were staying at was really great. The one downfall, there was a couple downfalls about it, is that there weren't really like many wood trails that I think we were both hoping to look for, but then there was also no bonfire pit or area, which we were really looking forward to, which we didn't clarify with the Airbnb, but that's okay because it worked out and it was cold out anyway, and we stayed inside and enjoyed their giant ass projector that they had, which was really nice.
It just it was disappointing because I enjoy sitting outside and around at a fire.
Mama does too,
right?
Trust me.
But you know, the thing that kind of sucked was like we were outside still, but without a fire in the wilderness, that sort of attracts a lot of animal interest. You know, if you got a fire, they'll keep away. But I mean, we were out there hearing like larger animals, like shit.
Like coyotes, and there was like a squirrel. It was like we heard a couple coyote calls, and then like the moment after that, we heard some like scurrying on the roof.
Yeah.
And like nearby the house,
it sounded like a goddamn crab was clawing on
it
the
really
roof.
did. Well, it didn't help that like our trip, our little microdose was like just starting around this time too. So it was just like, it was a lot.
I don't even understand that.
What?
That whole trip, because like you had some tea.
Yeah.
And
that's where it was starting, at least for me.
I ate a shit ton of that, like 9 o'clock at night. It was stupid.
Yeah, and then you had the tea.
It just didn't hit me that hard. I was really like taken aback by like the fact that I didn't feel like I was all that trippy.
I mean, you've taken mushrooms.
Especially since I took a lot.
You've done mushrooms so much, I think, compared to me. I mean, you
pretty much every other week.
That's a fact.
Months.
You have done mushrooms way more than I have done them,
and like larger amounts,
and in larger amounts, and more often, and like even smaller amounts, and like during a thing like
It wasn't my dad's birthday today.
I know. I did think about it too, but I was like, no, we got places to go and other things, because well, for me, like I've noticed like my trips like need to. I'm still kind of coming back from my really intense penis envy trip, and the honeymoon was the last time that I did like a microdose because I felt like I needed to bridge myself or work myself way up to it. I also know where my subconscious is right now and conscious, and I'm going and kind of working through a lot, I think still. I'm in my Saturn return as well, so I'm kind of in a place where I am also, I think, not doing it as much because I know that every time I do a mushroom trip, I'm going to get some inspiration for let's take a trip. And I already have a lot to do and make. So I don't know. We'll see. Plus, it's hard for me to do it at the house because I feel, and I know that the cats trip too. And it doesn't seem like they have a pleasurable time because me and my babies are so connected. When I'm tripping, so will they. It's like really interesting. So the honeymoon was a great time to like do a little microdose.
Well, I feel like they recognize when you are tripping, at the very least. Like the other day when I was tripping, I remember I was trying to pet Annabelle, and every time I went to go pet her, she would just sort of like do one of these and kind of like look at me like, you know, and I was like,
yeah, because you're,
that's weird. She never acts like that, you know, but I was tripping, you know.
Your energy is different, or she might see something, or
I mean, that's an
we
interesting
don't know
idea.
for sure.
Yeah, just like the visual sensations that animals see, or visual dimensions and levels that animals see that we can't see. You know, is that like more turned on in a way, and are they able to see the difference in a tripping person that's under the influence of psychedelics? I don't know.
Right. I just don't, I just like and it's different for you because you have a connection with them, but you don't have the same bond as I do. But when I trip around them, I just feel bad. And then I get so focused on them and their well-being that like I can't enjoy or focus on my own trip unless it's like incredibly intense and I have to like force myself to do it.
Right.
But just like the last like couple of like times, like I've been able to maybe do like a microdose successfully. But that's like really about it. If I do anything more than that, then they're tripping too, and I just don't feel like a good cat mom to like allow that to happen. That makes sense. And then there's you know, I've thought about the question too, like what if it changes their consciousness too? Like what if it like elevates their consciousness? But it's like, but they're not really having a choice. But they're not really having a choice here. But I mean, think about it though. I mean, that's what happened with our monkey ancestors.
Do we really have a choice?
What?
To raise consciousness? Like I feel
we
like
have a choice to take mushrooms.
I feel like we have a lot of free will, but I feel like there's a lot of things underlying those thought processes and those and those like drives that we, you know, have underlying in our subconscious that push us to make decisions. Are we not in ways being subtly coerced towards a spiritual path, if that is the path that's meant for you?
I mean, yeah, of course.
I mean, I feel like spirit always pushes you back
like,
on that path.
What's the ethical, how does it become ethical for then your pets at this point, knowing like that it affects them in the detail that it affects them too?
Well, I mean, I would say there's a difference between you doing it and you literally giving them the mushrooms. You know what I mean?
Well, sure. Like, but I feel like even if
I don't think it's as intense for them as it is for you.
Oh, I'm sure it's not, but it's like I'm so connected to them that I feel it when they feel it and when they feel different, and I just like they don't like it. I just know that they don't like it. So, and I don't like it. It just I don't know. So it's all relevant. All of this is relevant to our honeymoon. I know that was great. This whole room's just like it has like that, you know, like when you go to a concert and everyone's on their pens. That's what this room looks like right now. Just all like that smoky haze. But when you know, when we went to our honeymoon, taking mushrooms was a big part of, you know, our honeymoon experience. So it was a part of the plan. So everything we just talked about, I promise, is all relevant to the honeymoon. I know it got a little kind of sidetracked, just a little bit, but it's okay. We like mushrooms, but that was a great that was a great place for me to like microdose to redeem the last really heavy, intense trip that I had. It wasn't I don't like to say it's a bad trip. I don't think it's like, I think I need to like stop looking at things as good or bad. It was just it was heavy and it was intense and it was a purge, and it was something that scared me, honestly, that I feel like I needed to like can work. Well, yeah, sometimes. But it's all about setting. And when I took it, when I had that penis envy trip, I was going through a lot of shit in my life at that moment. Yeah. So like
in retrospect, it really wasn't the best. I mean,
in retrospect,
it smaller amount, but like you took.
I did. Like it was. Sorry. But it was an opportunity. But you know what though? That trip ended up being this trip that inspired me to do Let's Take a Trip. So it's like, you know, it all plays a part, and there's like a beauty that's coming out of it. But at the time, like, I just remember what the feeling was like. I remember like what my head was like. Like, I don't even know how to just put words to it because it's just feelings that I don't know have like a proper way of describing it. And so after having that be my last mushroom experience, to go on this honeymoon, to be in a different consciousness, to be in a place where we're happy, things are different. We've been married now. We're in a different environment that's safe and is surrounded by nature, because nature is always important for, I think, for me, and it's always been important for you and I. I mean, like, we've always been kind of like more, I think I'm more the nature person here, but you grew up around a lot of nature.
Yeah, I mean,
and so it's like a part of you, and you enjoy it from what you've told me.
Yeah, well, I think that a lot of people, I don't know, I think that there's a lot of different nuance, obviously, within people, so I can't say this definitively, but I would say that there are many people out there that tend to gravitate towards an environment that is opposite of the environment they grew up in, if that environment they grew up in is in some way, you know, disappointing, or, you know, holds memories that, you know, you maybe want to move away from. I don't know. But it could be any number of things. You're just bored with that environment and you're looking for something different. Because for me, I remember I grew up in the woods. I've always liked the idea of living in the woods, but I feel like every time I've had an opportunity to find a place to stay, it's always been in the city. And I've always enjoyed the city. I like the city a lot. I just don't like the big cities. I could never live
like downtown.
In New York. Yeah, I could never live in New York. I could never live in Chicago.
You like the burbs, the suburbs.
I like the burbs. The burbs are fun, you know, but like just being a little bit closer to the city, but further away from like the wooded burbs, like the boondocks, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, after our honeymoon, I mean, we talked about the potentiality of us moving near or around the UP, and it's been coming up a lot lately too. So I felt like our honeymoon and honeymoons, it's interesting. So I think the idea of a honeymoon, like you said earlier, it's like, you know, you just planned all this wedding and like you're now married, like, you know, your headspace really truly is in like in a different space. You're definitely on a like this adrenaline kind of high from all the love and all the celebration and everything that has kind of been around the wedding. And so and then you feel that shift of consciousness, which we talked about in the last episode too, every time, I mean, maybe when you get married, but for us, we felt it every time we got married, since we got married 3 times. And so I think the whole idea of a honeymoon is almost kind of necessary in an aspect. I don't think it's like something you have to, let me rephrase that. Okay. It's a great thing to do if you want to start off your relationship on a good note. I think it's important to take time for you and that other person that you just made a union and a commitment to on a higher level, and internally as well, to spend time celebrating that, because too often we'll kind of just go back to normal and we don't acknowledge it. And it's just like, and nothing really changed. And so I think,
well, especially in the modern era, because a lot of us are living together for many years before we start to get married, you know, versus before, where it was like you lived apart, and then in order to live together you had to get married. In the eyes of the society or the culture, because law, like, doesn't fucking matter, you can do whatever you want.
And so I feel like it's necessary in an aspect of, if you want to really create that shift and that change in your relationship and a consciousness, just by physically going to do something, or even just physically taking time away from your week to just kind of spend time with one another for, I would say like a week is like a great time at the very least. It's like great.
Honeymoons every week.
Honeymoons every week.
Yeah, like date night becomes a honeymoon night.
I mean, yeah, I do think that, I mean, I do miss us doing date nights. Like, that was something great, but we stopped because of COVID. And I think, but what I'm saying is, it's like going on a honeymoon, because, and it's not to say that you won't have a happy and successful relationship if you don't immediately go on a honeymoon, but I think it's great to do it almost immediately after you get married. It doesn't have to be like right away, but I think within at least like the first month or so, it's a good idea. Because I think, you're gonna do it differently. Because some people go to these honeymoons that they have to wait for a year, but
you know, wait on a mailing list or I'm waiting. Yeah, I gotta mail out this thing to get.
Yeah, so you might though. But one of the
a waiting list or something like that, you know.
One of the things that came through as an advice from somebody is like, do not wait to go. Like, and I remember this stood out to me. Like, out of all the advice, because you hear a lot of advice when you get married, but something about this in particular like really stood out to me. And I feel like maybe it's because of this, but maybe it's because we actually went, and there's all these other things that grew and developed because we went. But somebody literally said, make sure you go on your honeymoon sooner rather than later. Don't wait. Like, don't put it off. Because then 22 years later, you're finally going on your honeymoon. And like, I just like thought about that, and it just hit me, and I was just like, oh my God, because you can just easily get lost into going back into the daily routines of life. And I feel like that is something that we as a culture and a society are kind of losing sight of. It's this idea like we got to go back to work, we got to go back to making money, and like that's not why we're not here to just like work and make money. We're here to live too, and we're live to have these kinds of experiences and these kind of opportunities with our partners that we choose to marry.
Yeah, I mean, well, the honeymoon, I think, has been the first thing that we, as a modern culture, began to recreate. You know, marriage ceremonies, I think, have kind of kept up with the times, you know, but honeymoons, I think, were the first sort of things we were like, okay, we're going to really make this adventurous, or we're going to really make this interesting, or we're going to make it themed, or we're going to make it this, you know what I mean?
Sometimes you feel like it's not as old as we think it is, but maybe it's...
No, I'm serious. I don't think it's as old as we think it is. Like, I think it's a newer tradition, but even in that newer tradition, I think, like, there's more room for that new change, you know, to be accepted versus, like, an older tradition, like a marriage ceremony or, like, the parts of a marriage ceremony, right? But I mean, I think with honeymoons, I honestly really enjoy the idea of getting to experience a new environment with your new, you know, partner, because like you said, you're literally going to a place almost ritualistically, right? You're creating space.
We spend a lot of time looking for that place,
right? And then you know, with all due respect, I mean, you have lots of sex. I mean, like, that's what you do on a honeymoon. Like, everybody just has lots of sex, and
it's a great time to do it.
But that energy is also in part of that ritual. It's part of that, like, experience.
Well, because, like, what is sex? It's a union of, like, you and one other person on, like, a very intimate and physical level.
Right. And so, and the think of when it happens, what it signifies, why you're doing it, the intentions, like a set and setting, right?
Right.
So if you put it all together and you understand that you're literally creating magic, like you're literally creating like a ritualistic ceremony in a way, that holds a magnetic or magic energy that I believe has some imprint upon the relationship between the two people.
Oh, for sure. It definitely, I think, continues and carries throughout the relationship.
Glad we did it largely tripping on mushrooms.
We went and did things when we were not tripping
extra
too.
Energy to us.
I know, like, I remember the first day, we were like, okay, we gotta get there this time.
Like, we
gotta make sure. And I was like, all right, are you ready? Let's go. And it was just like, you were so ready.
Because I knew we had to take them at a certain time.
Yes, we had to time it right. And we were like,
up all night.
We were pushing it, man. And then you saw, I still, like, think about the shit monsters. Because
I talked about that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did. So, I don't know what episode it was, but it was really funny. But it was a nice trip.
You think about when you're laying in bed and can't go to sleep because you're still tripping.
Yeah.
But we did find fresh kiwi juice.
We did. We found fresh kiwi juice.
That guy is awesome.
And we also watched Rainbow Brain by Grizz, the movie, his like music video movie thing that he has on YouTube, which was awesome, watching Tripping and on a giant ass projector, and then finding fresh kiwi juice on the projector too. And we started off with like the one where he's in France. It's like a 16-minute long video on YouTube.
It's so good.
FKJ.
FKJ, baby.
Is his name. But yeah, we discovered him, and now like we're obsessed with him. Like every time I put my Spotify on shuffle, it like always throws in an FKJ.
Like, stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's like his work is really. There's something I feel it. Like it makes my brain go do 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 do.
Yeah,
and like it opens up my creativity. It's very inspiring. It's very moving. You can tell like how passionate he is. Like it was really great. So like to find somebody, and like now we both will think of FKJ when we went on our honeymoon. And actually, I totally forgot. So when I
forgot, ladies and gents.
My mantra for the blue moon, Luna Essence, Higher Love, is a song by FKJ called Higher Love. And we were on our honeymoon, and that's when I heard it, because I didn't have a mantra for this yet. Because remember, I just bottled it, and I didn't have the label or anything for it yet. So, like, it was made, but I was like, so, like, the way I like to work with my Luna Essences, I make them intuitively. But then I like to have, like, a couple of days to work with them and to kind of fully understand what they're gonna do. Let them speak to me. Let me tell me like what it is, because it's a combination of like I'm making things, but then by the time I'm using it, it's been charged by the moon. So Luna's energies have kind of been embedded into the water, and so I kind of like channel through it and like to hear like, okay, like, I know what the intentions are going into it, but then sometimes things work out a little differently. So I like to kind of work with it in order to kind of have a better understanding. And I often listen, like all my mantras that I create for there are always like channeled or like come through as like a message. And I felt like that Higher Love song was like a channeled message, because it was like one of the last songs that we heard, and we heard it that morning. And I think it was right as we were leaving. And like we listened to FKJ on our way out.
Yeah, we did.
Leaving to our honeymoon. So like, yeah, that's
to
really.
Kwamanan.
So look at that. It came here. Yes, and we went to Kwamanan, but we missed a whole day too. We did another day where we were doing all kinds of excursions.
Yeah, we just went around.
Yeah, we did picture
the areas.
The boat tour. Yeah. What else did we do? We went to La Katrina, that Mexican restaurant, which I thought was so interesting.
Some kind of like walking trail.
Oh, Press Isle. Yeah. Black Rocks.
Yeah, we went to Black Rocks.
So we also stopped by a beach for Lake Superior, which I'm so happy about. And
you wanted to
gathered some goodies, which I still need to complete with making the magic. I know, there's a lot of wedding magic. It takes time. Jesus. I'm taking my time with it, but I know what I want to create. I just have to get there. So then we did that, and what else? Then we went to La Katrina. Oh, we went to the brewery. What was that brewery? Is that in the house?
Oh, I think it was Black Rocks. Wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that was right. It was Black Rocks, and then we went to Press Isle. That's what it was. Okay.
But it was like Black Rocks is named after Black Rocks, which is a place on Press Isle. In
Press Isle. Yeah. So that's all like connected.
You were correct.
I thought it was so sick. Oh, we have to share this too. So
we have to share it.
When we went on to Press Isle, Black Rocks, we parked by this artist that was off doing something in the distance. And
off in the distance, he was doing something artistic. Yeah.
You're so sweet.
That's where it sounded like it was going. Full on musical with it.
I could make it a musical.
All right. Let's not do that.
Spirit fingers. Spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers.
And you were saying.
So anyway, I was so curious about what he was doing, and Dave the whole time was like, no, leave him alone. He doesn't want to be bothered.
I'm not want to bother
And like,
people.
I was just like, I just want to like walk by and like see what he's doing, because I can't tell because he
Let
wasn't.
me do it.
He wasn't painting. He wasn't writing. Like he was
carving.
like looked like but you couldn't tell exactly what he was doing. So we walked the opposite direction first, and then we
stalked him. Got his knowledge.
No, we didn't. We walked the opposite
she was
direction
just like
first.
staring the whole time. Like,
And I was just wanted to know what he was doing.
doing?
I just wanted to know because, like, I knew he was an artist. I could tell he was an artist. I was just so curious to see, like, because I love, like, when you're out walking in the park and you see an artist working on something or creating something. I think you need to go investigate that.
What is happening?
I'm sorry. You can get out quicker and I won't walk up into the camera.
Yeah.
So anyway, we walked the opposite direction and went on that trail, but then we eventually turned around and we decided to go that direction. The artist was still there. And so even then, Dave was like, no, wait. And I was like, I'm going to ask him on our way back then as we're like leaving and like going away.
I'm going to get this dude.
And I thought it was so interesting what happened next because he was a very kind dude, by the way. Yeah. And I have been following him at, I think, Blair Witch on TikTok. But he was carving fucking tarot cards. He was carving the lover's card.
He was doing like a linograph, like pressed, like
with wood block,
thing.
Hand carved, printed,
it was
painted.
Pretty damn cool.
It was fucking cool, and I'm so happy. And like the irony of like, okay, that I'm a tarot reader, and we're there in our honeymoon, and the lovers often symbolizes, you know, that kind of energy that I think a honeymoon carries. What is she doing?
She's just like, you have like a dish on your, like a tin dish in your room on the floor, and she keeps walking around it. Hey, come on. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't think there'll ever be a higher consciousness episode unless it's not in the house that will not have kitty interruptions. And in the future, we're talking about having babies in the future. There's going to be baby and kitty interruptions. So it'll be a family show by that point.
Yeah, just be bringing the kids into the show.
Oh my god. Well, no, because like they're
that.
crying and stuff or whatever. No, I don't know if I'll bring the kids. Maybe I will. I don't know. We'll
not
see.
Not a good idea.
Why not?
I don't think so.
I think whatever. And fuck, like, there's such a bad stigma about moms that smoke cannabis. Like, fuck, like, moms should smoke cannabis if they fucking want to. Like,
I don't know, just, you know, but like smoking in front of children and everything, not probably the best, you know.
Well, I'm not thinking about like actually bringing them on like the show.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
well, they don't
like,
exist,
the interruptions, like, maybe, like, they'd be crying in the background, and that's how they would end up being a part of the show, where they would, like, run across the thing. Like,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, no, they don't exist right now, but we've had, like, these...
They don't exist.
But time doesn't exist. So
that's
technically
true.
They do exist.
Where are they?
I don't know.
Where are they?
They're just, their matter hasn't formulated in
glad,
full.
I don't want to hear the crying.
Me neither. Okay.
I've got enough cat crying.
Anyway, so with our honeymoon, I'm trying to think, like, so yeah, he was doing a tarot card, and it was the lovers. So, and
he was doing a tarot card.
I thought that was really awesome to run across, especially on our honeymoon. It felt very synchronistic. It felt like a huge sign and a very good, like, thumbs up from the universe, because there was talk right before our honeymoon where we almost didn't go.
Well, you know, I think that sometimes the universe puts things in your way, obstacles in your way, and you're thinking, well, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? And ultimately, I think you have to just sort of look at what you've got value-wise in front of you and go with the thing that, like, is going to bring more value to your life, that you can, you know...
Making the best of your resources.
Yeah, that you could... Yeah, exactly. Making the best of your resources.
Yeah. But Tequamanon Falls, that was probably... Out of all the things that we did, I thought that was we were gonna hit it on the way up there, but we just ran out of time.
We were gonna hit it.
Yeah. But that, and I think, I mean, I enjoyed doing everything like at the UP too. I think going to the beach and Tequamanon Falls and spending time in the house that they had there, because the house was very like decorated with like local art, and like all the art was like the host daughters, all of her art, and all kinds. They had the giant fish painted on the wall, and they had like cedar like ceilings and stuff. Did you scare her?
I just moved my foot and she leapt in the air. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
I literally just, I had my feet crossed over here and I picked up my foot because it was kind of cramping. And she was walking by and she was just like, ah!
Lily.
Lily.
Oh, so sweet little
Come here,
baby.
baby.
Yeah, come here, kitty.
She's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I will go hide now.
So yeah, but I loved doing those, like Tequamanon Falls, going to the beach, and
Well, it's a nice, affordable honeymoon that made you feel like you're in a different like environment.
it really
completely.
fucking did.
You know, because even though we're still in the same state, you go into the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and there are qualities about being up there that are very different about being in the lower part of the state. The nature's a lot more extensive. You
So
have
much.
a little bit more rockiness, just a little bit more. So there's a little bit more hilly, kind of quality about it. I love going over in the Mackinac Bridge. That is like a really fun experience.
Yeah,
But ultimately, I felt like
there's
we
not
did a
many
good
states you
job.
can do that.
Right, like there's a good, there was a good job on our part, I think, in picking something that was in our backyard that was something we could actually go back and do pretty easily on a semi-regular basis if we wanted to, right?
Or we end up, at this point, we might end up living near it at one point.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. It's very interesting. I'm sure. Hey, I would love to have gone on like a really big, extravagant, honeymoon, and maybe we'll do that again in the future. I don't know. But like, I would love to go. Like, if I had my pick of any place in the world to go for a honeymoon, I'd probably go to like Greece or like Rome or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like the Greek islands.
Mhm.
That would be dope.
Yeah, Greece would be fun.
Dope.
Very romantic area.
Right. Plus the food. Whew.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, and
So
something
good.
different.
Right.
Yeah, well, we can still manifest that. It'll be maybe it'll just be a wedding anniversary.
What about you? What about your prime destination? Where would you go?
My prime destination.
If you had
I have
any
so
choice,
many.
where would you go
For a honeymoon.
For a honeymoon, because you could ask that like, where would you go? But I think when you throw the honeymoon aspect in there, you have to think about.
Yeah, it changes things.
Right.
It makes it a little
That's why
bit
I said
different.
the Greek islands, because it's a little more romantic.
I would want to do something would also be tropical, but I don't know any place in particular. Like all I can think of is like Mexico.
Mexico.
Just because there's a lot of food. That's like a city of like love, I feel. Yeah, I don't know if I would pick anywhere else. The only other place that I thought of was Thailand.
Thailand would be cool.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen Thailand on like a cooking show or one of those like world traveling shows, I've always thought it looked pretty beautiful, and the food.
Yeah,
looked
I would pick
amazing.
Thailand actually. I love Mexico so much, but I'm gonna say Thailand because I think because Thailand is, from what I understand, more connected, and not to say Mexico isn't, but there's like, I think we would really connect with the spiritual practices and what we would learn from there. I think we both would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. That's like,
I'm
I feel
getting
like Mexico
distracted
too.
with-
I know
What is she eating?
it's
over
my
there?
tape measure.
It's your tape measure.
Yeah, it's a tape measure that you
She's
normally
playing
use
with
for
it.
the body, but I was using it to measure out
Did
some of
you?
my products.
Somehow,
Yeah, and
I
she's
think
in
you
the
knocked over
mischief
the microphone
mode.
over there. Nice job.
I think the microphone's been knocked over, honestly.
Actually, the microphone's not plugged in. That's funny. It's funny.
Wow,
Well,
that's great.
That's just gonna be not as pleasing
Oh my
audibly,
God,
but
that's so great. Well, it is what it is, I guess.
That's what
But
it is.
I loved all the food that we had during our honeymoon.
Yeah, I mean, going up to the UP, you opens yourself up to a lot more fresh seafood, and I enjoyed a hell of a lot of that while I was up there.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what else did you have while you were up there?
I had some of the whitefish, and then we had the Mexican restaurant.
It's getting stormy outside.
Yeah,
girl.
I did not realize it was gonna get stormy out.
Man, I hope my screen's okay out there. That wind looks really intense.
I guess we'll have to go get that after we are done filming this.
Yeah, like immediately.
Immediately.
Because I'm like watching that wind blow out there.
Yeah, it does.
Got
Like,
the
what
screen
happened?
outside,
It was
I was
so
freaking out.
sunny, and then all of a sudden it just like churned.
Ugh, it's all that magic in the air. Magic.
Yeah, there really is a lot of magic in the air right now. There truly
Magic's
is.
in the air.
Yeah. No, but damn it, what else did we have? The Cucina. We went to the coffee shop and we had the sandwich there.
Oh, those sandwiches were
Those
great.
sandwiches were really good.
Yeah, the Mexican food was dope. I mean,
Yeah,
you
we
wouldn't
only-
expect like Mexican.
Oh, there was
And
the
the UP.
Tucumán brewery. That was
Yeah,
the
the
other place.
brewery was good.
That was where
Yeah.
I had more whitefish.
Did we have food in the brewery?
Yeah, at the no, the Tucumán Falls brewery.
Oh yeah, that.
There was no
brewery.
food at the Black Rocks brewery.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, I don't remember eating.
Yeah,
that.
no. The Tucumán Falls brewery
Right,
that
I
they
feel
had.
you. I feel you.
What
Yeah,
were you
but
saying?
no, I was just I was getting at that. I felt as though we did a good job of keeping it very, economical, close by, so we could travel back,
Mm-hmm.
if we wanted to. We got some, like you were saying, good food. We saw some good sights. We had good experiences. Yeah, there were a couple things that didn't go our way, but I think that's to be expected with a lot of these types of things, And
Yeah.
if you can embrace that, then you can have a hell of a lot better time and not be so focused on the things that went wrong.
Right. You can just enjoy like the present and
Right.
like all the fact that there's just all this beauty around you and just this deep connection, and it was like a great time. Like I really I'm always gonna think of the UP as a place where you and I bonded and deepened our commitment to one another. And I also felt a very heavy ancestral connection in some fashion up there too.
Interesting.
In some way. And I feel like that's why there was a point where I was really seriously thinking about moving there and considering what that would be like if we were to move there or kind of move there. And I asked so many
It'd be
people
different.
what they thought of living there because
You
I was
like
just
winter.
so curious what
Welcome to winter.
Northern Michigan was. Yeah, that was my main concern was winter. But I don't think the
Everyone's
UP. I think that's
no.
too far. I feel like some place like Traverse City would be.
Yeah, Traverse City is
better.
a little bit more reasonable. However, you're still going to get slammed with a lot more snow up there than you
I
are
know.
going to get down here.
But that's
So-
why, maybe we will just live half and half there.
I mean, I'm
we
open to
suggested.
that concept. See, that's an interesting
But
idea.
at the same time, I just feel I don't know, we'll want to just. I don't know. We'll see, we'll see.
Well, I know some people
Glitch.
that have gone on honeymoon
So it
trips.
definitely was a consciousness shift for sure.
Well, I know people that have gone on honeymoon trips that, they buy some kind of property there. They, buy a timeshare, they buy whatever, because they're so enthralled with the place that they've gone to that they want to be able to come back there
Yeah, and remember that.
and remember that. And I just felt like, going up to the UP was sort of like that in a
Yeah,
way.
I did too.
Not that we are doing it yet, but maybe we could do it. Maybe we could buy some property up there and, have a place to go and experience something similar to what we had
just
there.
did, yeah.
So and in that way, you're almost revisiting that energy and giving that energy more of your love and support, because you're coming back to it
Yeah,
and you're
giving
remembering
it a life at that
yeah,
point.
exactly. You're giving it a life.
And then that's
So-
something that you pass on to your friends and your family and the community and kids. And so then that one thing that you did on your honeymoon can end up affecting the rest of your life in some form. And I mean, I definitely felt had we have not gone on our honeymoon and where we gone, like, I feel like I don't know, I feel different. I felt different coming back from the UP, and I like felt more connected to you, and I felt like we were more one with one another.
We were one.
And forever. Yes, one and forever and ever times 3, because we like to do magic here. So yeah, I really enjoyed our honeymoon. Like we said, then after that, you know, we came home and we just kind of chilled. I don't remember exactly what else we did during our honeymoon week. I know that we did go to an event or a party or something.
There's something to be said, I think, for that too. Like, you know, going to a different place and then, you know, for on a vacation trip someplace and then coming back home and then immediately diving back into your life, you know. I think you should maybe take a couple of days off when you get back.
Yeah, digest trip, what you just went
really
on.
Digest just what happened, right? And then really, I think, work your way back into that day-to-day kind of life, right? Because by doing that, you're actually, again, you're giving it more life, you're extending its life, you're allowing it to have more energy behind it, and I think you're giving yourself the time and respect to not just switch from 0 to 60. You know what I mean? Or from 60 to 0, whatever that goes.
It creates more of, I think, not a slow paced life, but like
I don't know what she is doing, but that sounded like it was in the basement.
I was like, is it the rain or is it in our house? Like, that's what I had to like think about.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check on my screen.
Okay,
I just want to make sure it's not
while you're doing that, I love that this is what's happening during our honeymoon episode. I'm gonna have to sit here and really think about what it spiritually means, because I will do that. But I think like Dave was saying, there is something to be said about taking time. It promotes more of this, I think, slower paced life. You give yourself time and energy to digest and process this new commitment that you've just made and these new ways of thinking and feelings and consciousness. And I mean, you are kind of tired too, because I mean, you just went and you spent all this time putting energy into creating the wedding and then getting married, and like that takes a lot of energy too. I mean, it's all good and happy and high, but it's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of anxieties that come with it. So it's just kind of nice to just kind of focus on the home and focus on, like, I felt like what truly matters.
That's another aspect of it is, you know,
because the home is like where we are coexisting.
Well, yeah, taking time to, before you go back to your day-to-day life, you know, taking time to spend time not only with your new spouse, but the house itself, you know, like cleaning up the house, making it look good, you know, making you feel good about living in the space, you know, like
refreshing
that, blessing it, you know, clearing it. I mean, I feel like that in and of itself is a whole nother level of energetic connection between the ritual that you've just partaken in and the next phase of your life. So interesting higher consciousness thoughts today with this one. Unexpected. I didn't really I've learned a lot in our conversation about it.
Me too.
And
what did you learn today?
Well, I learned that there's, you know, there could be a energetic, ritualistic aspect to the creation of a honeymoon ceremony that you actively engage in, both physically and spiritually, that creates a foundational marker, if you will, within time and space of your life and your life now combined with this other soul.
Yes.
So that is like a spiritual marker within your life, almost like signing soul contracts in ways, right?
It is. It truly is. Yeah.
Like that is a very interesting and important energetic ritual that a lot of people haven't really maybe given as much serious thought to, you know. It's sometimes thought as a very casual thing that can be done or cannot be done, because some people just don't even have a honeymoon.
And I think, honeymoons don't need to be extravagant. You can spend your whole time at home just tending to each other in your house. And
Right.
Yeah.
Or you should just like go out and pitch a tent out in your backyard and go camping in your backyard. There you go.
Why the fuck not? I mean,
or build a fort in your basement.
Seriously. Like, I think invoking your inner child in some fashion during your honeymoon is like incredibly important.
We should do that for the next episode. We should
Just
do
build
an
a fort?
episode inside of a fort. Welcome to, what's the next episode?
The season finale.
Is it just a season finale? We
Yeah.
haven't done. Okay, so maybe the season finale will be in a fort.
That's the season finale. The season finale will be in the fort.
Yeah.
We should make it an art fort.
That'd
So
be
we
fun.
should like take all of your paintings and like make them like all look in
Art
and like
fort.
and then like stack them up to where we'll put blankets on top, but like
Now you're giving me
your
a lot of
art
ideas.
canvases will be what holds up, but they'll be facing inside, so we'll look like we're just in this like really trippy space.
See, now you're just giving me some crazy ideas.
Yeah, you're welcome.
To gestate on.
You're welcome.
That's a great
That's
word.
why you married me 3 times.
That's where you married me, Dave.
That's right.
Dave.
He's right, Dave.
I know, that's right.
Uh.
You know, it's funny, I had this mark on my shirt here.
By your nipple.
Yeah, and it's paint. I got little things of paint all
There's
over
paint
my shirt.
just churning up. There's
All
paint
over my
somehow on
shirts.
my curling rod or my curling wand.
On my curling rod?
On my curling wand. I was like, I don't know what it's
Like-
called
like
again.
Harry
It's like
Potter?
yeah.
Like Harry Potter.
There's paint even on like one of our dishes, and it's like in a dish that like I wouldn't think it would be in. I don't know, and it's just like one dot. It's like one little paint dot inside this tiny little dish, and it's like I don't even know how that was near you or whatever, but it's just so interesting. Like just all these little paints dots are just showing up around the house.
Well, you know, I do my best.
Even
to
on
clean
me
up after
sometimes I
myself.
find it on me, but
But
it's even on my coat. Like
sometimes it's just, I'm so sorry.
every time.
I'm so sorry.
But it's okay. I'm getting used to it.
I have to clean a little bit off the house.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's okay.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So, yeah, I think this honeymoon episode has been actually really nice, and it's definitely I gotta get back to. So I collected some things from the beach in order to make some honeymoon magic, because that was also something else that I was doing throughout the weddings and our honeymoons and stuff. So I took all of my bouquets, all 3 of my bouquets from my weddings, and I turned them into bundles. Bundles that, you can see them on my website at meaningfuldream.com. They look like that. I haven't actually showed them on social media yet, I don't think. If I did, I only showed maybe 3. But I made 14 total, and I decided to continue the wedding bundle idea and collect items during our honeymoon and incorporate that too. So I even made a mega bundle where I took all of the flowers from all 3 weddings and the honeymoon and put it together. And then I did just a honeymoon bundle. I didn't do as much as I did for all
I don't
the
even
other.
know if Harry Potter could wield this bundle.
Probably not.
So powerful.
Probably not. And I also plan on doing some sprays and some candles and oils with them, because I still have quite a few flowers left, just to kind of continue the vibe of those things going, but also to hold it as something meaningful and special, something that we can use on our anniversaries. Something that we can reconnect to in our relationship, if there's ever a time where it's we should use this wedding number 2 spray because this wedding number 2 helped me see this during that time, to help us reconnect and reground to that, or to it's just something that I think is important. I don't know, and plus I'm a magic maker, so I'm gonna try and make magic out of everything that I possibly can. But this wedding and the honeymoons, it felt important to continue it, and it's birthed all these ideas, which I think I'll be turning into onto other things here soon too, without giving too much away.
Ooh,
So,
mysterious.
Yeah. Mysterious. I like mysterious.
All right, well.
Yes. So yeah.
We are all finished.
Yes,
with
we're
this
all finished.
Episode of Higher Consciousness.
I'm like, Dave. All right. Well, we're done.
Well, I am always the one that wants to end on a tight hour.
I know.
So whenever it hits an hour, I'm like, all right, we're done.
Yeah, and then I'm the opposite.
Well, I also had to
let's keep going.
do all of the video compression.
I know. And today's your dad's birthday too, by the way.
Yeah, and we got to get over to my dad's place for his birthday, so I got to do work.
Yeah, I know.
Gotta go.
Yes.
And end the show.
Yes. So thank you so much for listening. If you're listening via our podcast, we love you and we thank you.
Yes,
Make sure you're
so
subscribed. Yeah, right? Like, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Especially all the new listeners and stuff that we've had recently. We really do appreciate that. We're watching. We see you. So definitely make sure you're following us on Instagram too, higher_consciousness_talk.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're gonna start uploading some more things here. Next week is the season finale, so we'll be dropping it again.
May or may not be coming to you from a fort. I don't know.
May or may not. We don't know. A fort in the forest.
I don't know.
On the fortnight.
It might be cold.
We can make it work.
Maybe. I want to build a fort inside.
I want to build a fort inside.
Inside. Elizabeth.
I want to build it outside.
Take it away. No, it's Beth.
What is happening?
Inner child's coming out.
Yeah, they are. Oh my god.
You were saying.
So funny.
Website?
Yeah. Thanks, babe.
I was trying to help you.
I know, but you got me sidetracked too, and I had to really think about. I'm so high right now. Yeah. Okay, so higher-consciousness-talk.com is our website where you can get all the links to our social media, but then you can also get the links to Dave's personal website and personal website outside of Higher Consciousness, so you can see what we do outside of this too.
That's also right.
And then, make sure you're following on Instagram. We're going to start uploading more photos here soon. And then, like I said, next week, season finale, drop at 8 p.m., YouTube and podcast. And we're thinking, but we're not sure, that we might do, an episode or two, something during the holiday season.
Maybe we'll see. We're coming into the holidays.
We're coming into the holidays. So we're in a point where we're should we take a break? Should we
still kind of talking
do
about
something a little bit? Should we not?
We may have more information next week.
Yeah,
we probably
will.
We probably should. Just so you know.
There's just our calendars.
People know what the hell's happening.
I just
feel
I just had two more things get booked for me today. So by next week I could have more things booked, and it might. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know.
Right.
We'll see what higher. I need to tune into what higher consciousness and ask them what what they want. What do you want, higher consciousness? What?
Tune into it.
Tune into it.
Tune into it.
Oh, tune. It just sounded like doing tune into it, and I was like, tune into it. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know.
Tune into it. And
I just, I was repeating what you were saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, babe.
Alrighty.
Well, why don't you end the show? Because I said what needed to be said.
Oh, you said what needed to be said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. Wow.
Go on.
No.
I'm just laughing at all of this.
You did this to me. You've done this to me. And this is what happens after you get back from your honeymoon is marital bliss. So.
No, you were just wanting to end it so badly.
No, I don't want to end it so badly. All right, guys.
Okay.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Higher Consciousness. I hope you guys tune in next week again for a season finale. It's going to be a great show. We're probably going to do it from a fort. Trust me. We're going to do it from a fort. All right. Take care, guys, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Listen to more Higher Consciousness every Thursday on Spotify at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.